Page 61, American March. It's the last piece in the book. Congratulations if you've made it this far. If you don't have a teacher, I really encourage you to go back through this book all over again, cover everything again, go through all the lessons, review everything. You'll find the pieces are a little easier or less difficult to play. You'll have forgotten things or you'll overlook things. Please make sure you have it all pretty well before you go on to the next book. Now let's talk about this little thing. There's nothing really new here. They've added words, so if you want to sing, you go right ahead. The key word there is you. You sing if you want. I don't sing in these videos. Good grief, it's torture enough without. But if you're going to sing, I suggest you do it after you know the piece. Because singing, to me, just makes it a little more hard. A little more harder? A little harder. Never mind. So let's look it over. It's 1 page long, treble bass clef, no sharps or flats in the key signature. We're in the key is C major. Go ahead and do the C major scale and go ahead and start doing the arpeggios too. The C major arpeggio, just 1 octave up and down on the arpeggio for now. But it's the tremolo exercise on the arpeggio that we're after. That's what's going to do you the most good. And it's a 4/4 time. All right. Right hand first, let's check and see, because a lot of these pieces are arrangements of other things. They're not really piano music, so the notes don't fall real well under the fingers. However, I think this author has actually written this way, but nevertheless, let's see what we've got. Starting at the beginning with a C chord here, it's a 1, 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and. Thumb comes down, 2, 3, rest, 2, 3, and then they want thumb. You can do that because you got to lift up. We'll just stick with it. Last measure, 1 and 2. 1 and 2. And remember dotted rhythms? Now, second line. Second measure. They want here. Yuck. No. Hopefully your hands are big enough to reach an octave. Letter to letter. Because then on the first measure here, I'm going to change that last note to a 1, 2. This way I can do the next one with 2, 5. I didn't change. The whole chord is that. And I'm going to do these and then this in the next measure. I got all the notes in the chord in one hand position. So again, the second line, first measure, you're here. Then 1, 2. Now, 2, 5. 1, 4, and now you can do a 3 or 4 again, whichever. If you do a 3, you can do 2. I got them all. Here, and then the thumb covers the other, or the 2. That's what I would prefer to do. And then you lift up and come down. 1 and 2. The last measure of the second line. I'm going to use second finger on the 8th note. I'm going to stretch out a little more. This way I'm a little closer to that. I can use, in the third line, I can use 2, 5 here, and then a 1, 4. Third line, last measure, you're here. We're fingering it the same way we did in the second line, second measure. Here. Then go ahead and you can do a 1, 3 or 1, 2, whichever. And then 3. Now on the fourth line down, second measure here. In here, I'm going to recommend in the third measure for the second beat you do a 1, 4. It's a stretch, but this way I can do a 2, 3 and a 1, 4. I can connect them. And I'm staying out here. And then a 1, 3, 5. Here, and then a 1, 2, 4, and then a 1, 2, 5. These fingerings are only suggestions. You work out one that works to you, but I'm trying not to move the hand anymore. I have to, and I like to connect the notes as best I can. Left hand is 1 and 2. I would prefer not to use the same finger on all those. So I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1. I could do a 3, 1, 3, or a 2, 1, 2. Any combination of fingers, it doesn't really matter. I just don't want to use the same finger in all 3 notes. And 3, 2, 1 comes in handy. And then you can lift up. And that really low note in the fourth measure, that's a G. And then you come back up here. 3, you're in this position. Second line, third measure, it's here. Same position, we're kind of here. Now you finish the third line here. The fourth line is here. You can use thumb on both if you'd like, or you can use here, 2, 3. You're kind of spread out. You're going to disconnect the notes anyway, but right now I'd like to connect them if I could. So, then going on, second measure, the fourth line I recommend a 2 and then a 2, 1. I want to stay close to where I'm at. I don't want to come up here. I'm here, and then go on, fourth finger, then 1, 3. We'll just crawl around a little bit. So put the hands together. If you're here, so those eighth notes in the right hand are by themselves. Down, then go up. Here and then. You put the hands together. Then go back through the touchy spots, which is probably most of it, and get rid of any hesitations. So keep it as slow as you need to, it doesn't matter, but no hesitations. Then we think about the articulation, where you have accents, so you can play a little louder. Just give a little extra oomph. And the last measure, the first line. I mean, it would get a natural accent on that beat anyway, because it's the first beat of a measure, but the forced accent is more than that. So put in the articulation. Lots of accents. On the fourth line down, last 2 measures, the half notes, they're all accented. Go ahead and separate. You have to separate them anyway, but with the accent, we typically will separate notes that are accented one after another. We'll separate. It helps bring out the accent. Okay. Dynamics, well, it's loud. And with the accented note, that makes that note very loud. And the left hand, keep it in the background. The whole thing is basically loud. Well, it's a march. It's like a patriotic victory march. Yay, here we are. Oh, okay. Speed, well, it says alla marcha, means like a march. In the order of a march. Pretend it's a march. Left, right. People are marching. Left, right, left. You'll have to decide how fast you want your march to go. Just don't make them go running down the street. But, you know, it's a march. Nice and steady. They put in a staccato there in the fourth line, second measure. Don't know why. It seems to be the only staccato in the whole piece, but it gives you an idea, because you can do these other things staccatos. This, technically, that's staccato. You either connect it or you don't, and we want this to bounce along, so we don't want to connect it. We want it to bounce. But that, in the fourth line, this is not. That is. In my mind, I just play it. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. Now, I want you to understand, too, in the form of the piece, the first 4 measures or so, That's introduction. The song starts where the words are. That's the piece. And the last line here, that's a coda. So they put in an introduction and a coda. Those are different sections. So you don't always have to have double bars between the sections. And here's an example of where they didn't. That's fine. Let's play this together very slowly and check the notes and the rhythms. I'll give us 4 counts. 1, 2, ready and go. And 1 and. 2, 3.